I'm Daryl Hammock, the city's Water Quality and Environmental Permitting Manager, and thank you all for coming out to today's workshop. One of the main challenges and goals we're going to try to work on today is ensuring clean water in our creeks and streams while at the same time meeting the needs of the mobile washing industry. Today's workshop is presented by several groups. First of all, Charlotte Mecklenburg Stormwater Services, for which I am a part. That includes several city and county employees that you'll hear from today. We also have representatives from the Charlotte Mecklenburg Utility Department who are responsible for drinking water and sewer services. We're going to hear from those folks early this morning as well. We also have the United Association of Mobile Contract Cleaners, or the UAMCC, is also helping us put on this workshop today. The UAMCC is a national organization, and I want to thank them for joining us today and traveling from all over the country to join us. We've got folks from Kentucky, folks from as far away as Texas, and even California. So thank you to the UAMCC. Just a little brief overview about why we're having this workshop today. As some of you may know or you may not, the Clean Water Act regulates states and further regulates, and the states regulate cities and towns like Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. And they require us to get permits from the state and the federal government that makes us do certain things throughout the city with ordinances and other requirements to make sure that we keep the water clean. So kind of understand that we're not only regulating the industry, we're also regulated by the state and the federal government. So we're responsible just like the industry is. We can be fined for not complying with certain regulations that are required by the EPA. And some of those requirements include things like having this workshop and like providing training and providing guidance and passing ordinances. So that's kind of our role in this activity. We have been observing more wash water discharges over the years. The industry has grown, the population of Charlotte has grown, so that's becoming an increasing or a growing problem. And so we see this workshop as an opportunity to get information out to the mobile washing industry and to convey to you what we think is necessary for compliance with the Clean Water Act and with our requirements as well. So through your feedback today, we're hoping to get a determination of what's practical, not only to meet your business goals, but to also protect creeks and streams and lakes from harmful effects of wash water runoff. So we think this is a good point to start a dialogue with the industry. If you don't get your question answered today, or if there's a lot of issues raised today that you don't get quite fully resolved, be sure to give one of our staff a call, send us an email. I think there are going to be a lot of unanswered questions as we conclude today. As some of the presenters go through their material today, you may be surprised at some of the things you hear. You may not agree with some of the things that you hear. You may just be saying, what the heck? I don't want to have to do these things. There's going to be a lot of legitimate points, I think, that the industry is going to raise about the ordinance and about the guidance that's been going to be presented. Our goal is to understand your issues and to work with you and to help arrive at the appropriate and right solution to meet the goals of clean water and of the industry. So please be patient as we work through that today and let us know your feedback. If you can, try to hold your questions to the question and answer session at 10:25. On the agenda, we're going to have a time period about a half an hour to hear questions and have some dialogue. We have a really packed schedule today, so try to be brief, and we'll try to answer as many of those questions as we can. But eventually, we do want to find a solution that meets the goals of the industry as well as protecting creeks and streams. Again, thanks everybody for coming today, and thanks for your time commitment. And I ask that you help us constructively solve the challenges we're going to discuss today. That's all I have for an introduction. At this point, I think we'll just go right into our first speaker. Our first speaker is Rusty Rozelle. He's a Mecklenburg County employee and has been for about 30 years. So Rusty is an expert. And so many of you may have talked or worked with Rusty over the years. So without further introduction, Rusty, take us off. Thanks.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
Y'all are awful fine looking group. Did y'all know that? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about stormwater in general, and I'm going to focus on current water quality conditions. I want to talk to you a little bit about the waters of Mecklenburg County. I mean, that's why we're here today, is to protect these surface water resources. I'm going to talk to you about some pollution sources that we see and that we struggle with to try to protect that water quality, and what we do to control some of those sources and what you can do to help us. Begin with, this is Mecklenburg County, and we cover in Mecklenburg County about 526 square miles, and we have a population today of about 826,000 people, and that population has doubled over the past 20 years, so we're a fast-growing community. And we've got 7 different jurisdictions in Mecklenburg County. We've got the town of Davidson up there next to Iredell County in the north. Just south of that is Cornelius and Huntersville and Pineville, Matthews and Mint Hill. And of course the largest jurisdiction in the county seat is the city of Charlotte. And here in Mecklenburg County we're blessed, we're richly blessed with abundant surface water resources. For a Piedmont community, a non-coastal area, we have a lot of water around here. We've got 190 miles of shoreline in portions of 3 of the 11 lakes that comprise the Catawba River system. Now the largest lake in the system is Lake Norman, up there in the northwest corner of our county. It covers about 32,000 acres, a very large lake. Just south of that, downstream, is Mountain Island Lake. It covers about 2,700 acres. And then just south of that, we have Lake Wiley in the southwestern end of the county that covers about 12,000 acres. And of course, Lake Wiley runs on into South Carolina, into the Wateree River, the Wateree into the Santee, and the Santee into Charleston Harbor. So that's kind of the way the water flows. We're about halfway down the Catawba River chain. Up north of us, the Catawba River begins in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Now these lakes, you couldn't put a value on them. They're priceless. They're priceless for a lot of reasons. I want to talk a little bit about that. First of all, they provide us with our drinking water. Without them, we wouldn't have drinking water. This is an intake where Charlotte-Mecklenburg Utilities pumps water out of Lake Norman to provide drinking water to the northern towns, and they're pumping about 25 million gallons of water a day. Now this is Charlotte-Mecklenburg Utilities' second drinking water intake on the Catawba. This one's in Mountain Island Lake. They're pumping about 85 million gallons a day to provide the drinking water to the residents in the city of Charlotte and southern towns. Together, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Utilities provides drinking water to about 760,000 people here in Mecklenburg County. And I remember I said the population was 826,000. Those few folks left over, they've got private wells and a few community wells. But groundwater around here is not adequate to provide all of our drinking water. These surface waters, we have to use them. So they are vitally important to us. There are other intakes on these lakes that border us to the west. Mount Holly has an intake, and that's the one on the left in the picture, and Gastonia has an intake. Mount Holly's withdrawing about 2 million gallons a day for their population of about 12,000 folks, and Gastonia is withdrawing 16 million gallons a day to their population of about 110,000 folks. Belmont over in Gaston County, as well as of course Mount Holly and Gastonia in Gaston County. Belmont's pumping about 2 million a day for about 8,700 residents. And then Rock Hill's pumping about 7 million a day for about 57,000 residents. You add all that together, you've got 137 million gallons of water a day providing drinking water, the sole source of drinking water, over 1 million people in 3 different counties in 2 different states in 6 different drinking water intakes. And that's just along our western border. So if you take away those lakes, those people don't have drinking water, 1 million people. So we have got to keep those lakes clean. Now, if they become somewhat polluted, you can treat it. But the more polluted it becomes, the more expensive it is. And there comes sort of a diminishing return, and it becomes impractical to use it as a water supply. So we want to keep it absolutely as clean as possible.